Hey everyone, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a really great day. So I made 2 cards today using Spellbinders large and small dies of the month. So here is this large die. I love this. It reminds me of like a retro camera. So here are all of the camera pieces together, and I'll show you those as we go along putting this camera together. Super cute, just really a fun die. Then you have sentiments that can go at the bottom, and then you've got some beautiful flowers. I'm not going to use the flowers or the sentiments. So these colors right here are Catherine Pooler's Apothecary new ink colors. You've got terracotta, apricot, ginger, and winter green. And when I saw this, I knew I had to get these colors, and I knew I wanted to use it on this camera because it just, something about this feels kind of retro 70s, 80s. I don't know. I loved it. So we're going to do ink blending. I die cut all of my images from white cardstock, and we're going to ink blend because obviously I want to use these colors. So I'm just ink blending certain parts of my camera pieces, and as we put them together, you'll see what they are. So I've got my waffle flower mini stencil mat out, which I'm in love with this for stenciling, for ink blending. It makes it so much easier to, your workstation's just not going to get dirty. So the first color I used was the winter green. This is apricot, and I'm really into like apricots and corals, like the kind of peachy coral colors, and I love that with the teal color. So when I saw those 2 colors, I thought it was fantastic. And then the other 2 colors of ink, the terracotta and ginger, I love oranges, and these aren't really like my colors, but I just thought they were so pretty all together. So these little pieces here are for like the flash part of the camera. The little wedge pieces are. The other piece was for the camera lens, and I'm just cleaning with water and wiping down in between each color. I started with the lightest color and just working my way up. This ginger color is kind of a fun, to me it reminded me of like a leather color. So those little pieces on the side are the straps to the camera, so that turned out perfect. And then we've got the base part, the big base part of the camera I am doing in the terracotta. This is a really yummy color. Now these dies, a lot of these have, because these are etched dies, have embossing in them. So if you don't get a good embossed image, like when I inked over this, you couldn't really see the embossing. So I actually ran this through the die cut machine again to make sure that the embossed part of the camera image came through. So I'm just going to finish cleaning that up. And here are the parts of the camera. So this little front part that has the lens in, I'm going to pop up with some foam tape. And then just put that in place. And I love that winter green against that terracotta. So it's kind of like, you know, just a beautiful burnt kind of reddish orange. And then having any kind of light turquoise is just gorgeous. This little strip piece was turquoise. I'm going to adhere that at the bottom of the camera. I tried to make this easy so you guys could see what the pieces were for, because there's a lot of pieces. So here is for your lens and the little like flash part, not flash, I guess that like the part you're looking through, you're on your camera, the little view finder. It's not the finder, that's a little toy, but the little view area, you guys know what I mean. Okay, so I've die cut black cardstock, laid that down, and then did some white and the apricot. I'm going to pop this black piece up with foam tape, and then I will adhere the other little white piece to that. And just this camera is starting to come to life, and it's so cute. This is a great die to have in your stash. Now, the flowers are absolutely gorgeous, but I really need to have a lot more guy cards in my stash. So these 2 cards, I'm leaning towards the guy. So that's why I'm not using the flowers, because I just need more man cards in my arsenal here. So these are the little handles that are going to hold your camera strap, and so I'm just going to adhere those onto the sides. And I love, again, all of that winter green against these oranges is just so pretty. There's something about that color combination. Here are those little straps. We colored those with the ginger ink, and I'm going to adhere those behind the camera and on top of where that little hole is, so it looks like it's going through. Once you get all of your pieces laid out, really, this is super simple to put together. Isn't that darling? Okay, so now I've die cut the biggest circle from white cardstock. Then I put those 2 circles together to cut that frame out. And then we've got those other 3 circles that we had to cut from other colors and ink blending. So the largest circle, just white cardstock because you're not going to see it, and I'm going to lay these little wedges down. These were ink blended with apricot. And this is the flash part of the camera. So obviously you could do this in, you know, like a silver metallic would be really pretty, or a light gray or something like that. But I just really wanted this whole card to be just very, very colorful. These just go together super easy and super quick. Then I use that largest circle die, not the big ones. The ones off to the right, you have those two smaller circle dies, but I use the largest one for the center. Here is that frame where I did die cut those two circles together, and you got a nice little frame to edge that. The centerpiece will be popped up with foam tape. I'm adhering the foam tape behind the black circle, which has an inside piece and an outside piece, and I just laid the foam tape over it to hold it together. Then I have the ginger circle and the smaller wintergreen circle and the little white like shiny mark that goes on the lenses. Okay, now I'm using the embossing folder of the month. I'm die cutting that with white cardstock because this is going to be the background. And this just has, to me, what kind of looks like a flash going on. So it's super, super fun. So it's like little bursts of, to me, like light. So I trimmed that down. This is a 5x7 card. These sentiments here are from the small die of the month, and it says a gift for you. And I die cut that 3 times with black ink, and I'm just layering them on top of each other. I will adhere this embossed background to my 5x7 white card base. I totally ran out of my tape runner. I really don't love using liquid glue for the backgrounds. To adhere that down, not that it's a big deal, but I like a tape runner. So I'm going to add some foam tape behind this because I want it to be popped up. And I thought it would be fun to kind of have this on a diagonal. And then you have that, all the fun embossing behind it, which I just really think added a ton to this card. Then we're going to come in with that black cardstock, and part of the sentiment's going to be at the top and the other part is going to be at the bottom. So this is totally a guy card. But even these colors I think would be beautiful for a girl. You just bring in all of those flowers and it's fantastic. Now the sentiments that come with this die would go at the bottom part of that open space of the camera, and that's where you would put those sentiments. So I'm just going to adhere this down with a little bit of liquid glue, and this card is finished. Okay, here is the small die of the month. So now you've got this whole like stack of presents, and those dies that I'm pushing in can cut that out completely. I'm not going to do that. We're going to make a shaker card. So here's some sentiments, and then you have some little dies that are going to die cut out like the top, like the bows that are going to go on top of the presents. I have a mini slimline card. This is measured, this panel right here is 6 by 3 inches. And I'm taping my presents in place. This is going to be a shaker card. So all those little tiny pieces, you could inlay those if you weren't going to do a shaker card, but I want to do a shaker card. I thought this would be perfect. And plus that's a lot of inlaying. It would be gorgeous though. So you would just die cut that multiple times from different colors of cardstock and just inlay those colors. I'm using the same colors of ink that I did at the beginning. I'm using the terracotta, ginger, and apricot on this background. Then I'm going to bring in the wintergreen for the background behind this whole panel. So you will see it through the windows of these presents. So here's the apricot. I'm just blending that in. I am using some Neenah cardstock. I do have everything listed and linked below for you guys, so it's easy to find. Coming in with more of that terracotta, just darkening up that top just a little bit. Now here is that background that I'm just ink blending really quick with the wintergreen. And these are dye ink, so sometimes it looks splotchy, but once the ink dries, then it's going to even out nicely. I just love all of these colors together, and these just, I don't know, these turned out perfect guy cards. Okay, so now that that's done, let's add some acetate. So this is Judikins window plastic. I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue, very little. I'm going to add my piece of plastic behind that and then just trim off the excess. You could also use tape runner, but I'm out of tape runner, so I'm using some liquid glue. So use just a little bit because it's going to take a minute to dry because of the plastic, and you don't want it to, you know, leak out into your opening. I'm going to use some foam tape that I doubled up. I want it to be tall enough so all of my shaker bits will shake around. And I'm making sure that all of my foam tape touches the other pieces of foam tape. That way nothing falls out. So I'm just going to put these little pieces in place. Just fold it in half and trim it down to the size that I need. And then I'm going to dump the gold foil and crystal clear confetti from Studio Katia right in the center of my back panel. I will peel back that release paper and then center that in my card panel. This will be on, so that back panel is measured 6.5 by 3.5, which is the exact size of a mini slimline card. So I'm going to put that in place. I will adhere this to a white slimline card base, but let's add the bows. I die cut those from white cardstock. I'm coming in with a sentiment from Tailored Expressions. I already had this done. This was white heat embossed on black cardstock, and it says toss the confetti, which I thought was really, really, really cute. And then I'm just going to adhere these white bows to the tops of all of these presents. And I thought bringing in the white kind of actually breaks up those darker colors. But you can see that beautiful winter green through those presents. And then we have this great shaker card. It's completely finished. So if you guys like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel, comment, like, share, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you don't miss a video. Thank you guys so very much for all of your support. I appreciate you. Have a really wonderful day, and I will be back with another video. Bye.